Hello, good afternoon, everyone. And for those who are watching from a different time zone, good morning or good evening. And my name is Marilyn. I'm the founder and CEO of Customized Training Solutions Private Limited, or CTS. And we are passionate about helping leaders and organizations who are continuous learners and action takers to transform and thrive in all aspects by co creating customized programs with our world class resources. We have served over 3,000 leaders from over 30 countries in different industries, and that includes Petronas, Sony Mobile, ProLife UK, Ayala Group, Chevron, Tencent, Jollibee Foods Corporation, and Shell, to name a few. And we've actually been hearing a lot of challenges recently, and opportunities at the same time, for those leaders who don't know how to stay relevant and adapt to the next normal, those who find it stressful to lead and ensure performance of a remote team, and of course for those who are afraid that you can't keep your team or your business perhaps. So today it's my great pleasure to be here and hopefully to inspire you and to help you stay relevant and continue to lead effectively in any situation. And I'm very excited today because I have a very not only smart but beautiful guest, and it's exciting because she's an a mompreneur, which we're the same. And at the same time, because a lot of transitions are also happening nowadays, with like most people, most mothers are looking into also like being entrepreneurs, and a lot of corporate leaders who are actually transitioning towards entrepreneurship. So my guest today is Michelle Hahn. She's a stay-at-home mom that turned CEO of MomBoss Academy, where she helps moms build six-figure businesses from home. And she has been featured on Lifetime, Channel News Asia, Asia Money Guide, and many more. Zine named her one of the top 10 mom influencers in the world, isn't it? Wow. Let me bring her to the stage. Hi,
Hi,
Michelle.
Hi, Marilyn. Thank you so much for that amazing introduction.
My pleasure, my pleasure. I think this is the introduction I did is not even enough to, to share how amazing you are today in this interview. So thank you so much for gracing us with your time and your presence.
It's my
So
pleasure.
yeah, so I will jump right through the questions because we wanted to get as much and learn as much from you. And as you know, the theme is around leadership and transformation. And we'll be discussing the first three questions will be really more to know you and your where from which perspective you're coming from. And I would say the meaty or juicy part will be the 4 to 6 questions, and of course my very difficult questions, which I would say my Miss Universe questions, would be the last two ones. So let's jump right in.
Into
So
it.
yeah, so please share with us your leadership experience, influencers, and if you have a favorite leadership style that you'd like to share with us, feel free to do so.
Yeah, so thank you very much for that question. Leadership, right? Wow, where do I start? I'm naturally, let me just put it out there, I'm naturally not a natural leader. If you ask me, I am the eldest of my family, so I think that's kind of like forced onto me. Well, but based on circumstances, my mom passed away when she was 35. I was 14.
Oh, wow.
So naturally, I kind of have to step up and be the adult there. But my siblings aren't that young, aren't that much younger than me. We're just like 1 year and 2 years apart. So I think while I kind of have to grow up really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Based on my working experience and leadership experience, I'm if you let me, like, let's say among my friends and stuff like that, I'm not a natural leader. I'm happy to just sit back, relax, and you plan all the things, right? I could be following, but I think like because of my corporate working experience, I was promoted rather quickly through the rank when I was working. I was made the event manager of Sydney Aquarium when I was 25 years old.
Mhm.
So naturally, I have to like, oh my God. So I'm the event manager. Then we had a lot of, how to say, contract staff, a lot of service staff, set up and all that. Then I have to sort of manage the event. Then I think I kind of picked up those skills on like just ordering people to get things done. And I still don't think those are real leadership skills. Those are just basically leading a team and getting them to get things done, and which a lot of us could do if we have to, right? If we're put into a position. I think a real leaders, like where am I today after being in a working environment and having built my business, um, F&B business, a physical business, but prior to me having kids, and I have to quit all of that to start my business from home and growing multiple businesses, leading people, talking about my thoughts, my what my vision for the business, because building a business from home is like most of my team, not most, all of my team members are remote, so it's actually harder to lead when you don't see that person. So it's all based on like true leadership is all based on your vision, mission, what's your value, and not just getting people to do things, and just give people a reason on why they need to do well in
Mhm.
what they do.
Wow, that's amazing. I mean, you were saying that you're not a natural leader, but it was like based on your circumstances that actually, you don't have a choice but to be a leader, right? And it's interesting.
Yes. So,
And
well, that's the good thing. That means everyone can be a leader if you decide to
exactly.
step into it. Yeah.
True, true. And I love what you've shared. It's all based on your vision. I mean, when I started my business, it's also all remote or working from home, even though I'm working with multinational companies globally. And it's possible. I mean, COVID-19 has showed us that it's possible. I mean, it's all about the service and the add value that you share to the other people, right? And you've mentioned your experience as a leader, and in leadership at the same time from when you were younger. And so my next question then is, what is leadership for you?
Leadership for me is inspiring people to take an action towards a either a collective goods, right? If you have a vision for a better world, then you get and rally people to do their part to their best ability and contribute towards that goal. Or each of them have their own innate wants, right? I think every one of us
Mhm.
want to be a better person, and if you are able to lead them to become their best self, and I think we've done enough. But of course, as a business owner, we have our own agenda. We need like things to get done at certain time, and I don't micromanage. I'm sure you agree, Marilyn. It's hard,
Yeah,
especially if you have a a
remote team.
remote team. Exactly. So I started my business even before COVID. We've already been remote, right? I don't have
True.
a physical office ever. So yeah, so it's really just communicating the vision, having a clear result base so that everyone knows where they stand, and then working towards that collective goal.
Uh, Thank you for simplifying that for us. And I really love, like, you came back to your comment in terms of like how important a vision is. And again, it's really like leadership is really how to inspire people, whether you're working together in the same office or remotely, as how we work, right? And before I move to the next question, I just wanted to say hi to Gloria as well. Thank you for watching us.
Hello, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, and please feel free, those who are watching us right now, please do send us your comment, your questions, if anything. We will do our best to address that. And in my introduction earlier, Michelle, I've mentioned about the next normal, new normal, or the challenges, and at the same time I would say opportunities in the last 2 years during the pandemic. So for you, how would you define or describe the next normal?
I think the pandemic has definitely changed the way we work, the way we think about work. Like even if everyone could go back to the office and work right now, I think majority of our workforce do not want to go back, and which is fine, right? A lot of company also realize that why do we have all these fancy office when people could be just as productive working from home, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's the new normal, and also because of that, people realize that hey, we don't really need to work 9 to 5 because a lot of that 9 to 5 in the office is wasted, like chatting, going to lunch, going to office, going to your pantry, getting food, right? The productive time is probably like 2 or 3 hours max that you're
Mm-hmm.
really churning out work. And because when people are at home, they really are churning out work in like 3 hours and they're done for the day, people are looking into how do I grow my income, right? And they also realize that having a career, having a job is no longer that secure. You need to have something that is your own, right? How do we? So starting a side hustle is very low barrier to entry. A lot of people are thinking that. A lot of people have started that, which is great, which is awesome, right? We can market, we can go direct to consumer through Instagram, TikTok, whatever your means of content is. But because there's no so low barrier to entry, basically no barrier to entry, everyone is being shown, right? Everyone is there. The hello, oh my god, real life of like entrepreneurship moms, and you get that. Yeah, okay, anyway, so I was saying, yeah, so you need to stand out, right? Now the problem is because everyone is online, starting is easy. Is how do you stand out and be seen as the leader in your industry? And that's what people need to focus on.
Yes, wow. Thank you for I really love this conversation because you seem to make it so simple for everyone. Like, and it's like, it's just like this, So thank you so much for that. And so, like you've mentioned as well, like although most of the time you are entrepreneur, I would say, right? But from your experience as well as a corporate leader and working with now entrepreneurs and probably some corporate leaders who are transitioning, what would you say would be the top three problems that they normally face?
Number one, um, they get involved. They work too much in their business. They have
Mm-hmm.
no time. I mean, that relates to everyone, right? We've got not enough time. But why are they not having enough time to grow their company? Is because they are stuck in the functional role,
Mm-hmm.
right? They're stuck checking email, answering email, invoicing, just practically trying to do everything that they shouldn't be doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
As a entrepreneur, as a leader, we need to make the best use of our time, right? So I shared this with my students that there is 4 levels of values, right, in a company. So
Mm-hmm.
the lowest ladder of value is implementation. People
Mm-hmm.
who are actually doing gets paid the least. I'm sorry, like if you're in an MNC, the producing a product, let's say, the person at the factory really doing the making of the product gets paid the least, right? The next level up is in management, right? So a lot of leaders or people are like, oh, I want to be a leader, but they only really just got themselves to the management level, managing people below them, and right. But there's a salary cap on how much you are getting paid managing. And even
Mm-hmm.
if you are a entrepreneur, you're just busy managing your people. There's a that's the earning cap. You can't grow beyond that. But to grow beyond that, you need to be an effective communicator and
Mm-hmm.
using your imagination, where brought me back to the first or second question, is using your vision and communicate what you believe in, right? What's your becoming a thought leadership in your way of doing things. And that's how you can grow beyond taking your company, even if you're in a corporate environment, standing out amongst other people in your company, or
Mm-hmm.
standing out in your industry when if you have your business. You have your own methodology. You stand for something. You're not a vanilla, right? And you don't stand for something, and you are vocal about it. And that's something that is really hard, especially being Asian. We are taught back in school to just let's just keep quiet, right? Let's just blend in. But in this day and age, even if you're not a business owner, you're in the corporate world, you want to stand out, you want to get promoted quickly, you want to get a raise, you need to stand out. You need to show your boss that you can do what it takes.
True. Sorry. And do you have any, I think, other things that you'd like to share on the problems that most leaders do face?
Oh yes, that's just one problem. So
I thought you're
that's
done.
it. I think no time is also because they are caught doing all the things,
Mhm,
and then yeah, lack of visibility because there's so many people doing the same thing. Yeah, they have pretty much covered all the problems that we have there, and just also given them the solution.
mhm. Yeah, so I mean, obviously, before we give them the solutions on the next question, I just wanted to say hi as well to Abdullah. Thank you for joining us, and good morning to you. I think he's coming from somewhere which is still morning, so good
Morning,
morning to
probably
you.
Middle East somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, so thank you for engaging with us. And so that leads me to my next question. I mean, you've mentioned about the usual problem. This is again not only for business leaders in the corporate world, but also for most entrepreneurs where, time management or saying that they don't have time is one of the top problems aside from lack of visibility. And again, like what you've said, um visibility applies to both entrepreneurs and corporate leaders if they wanted to stand out or they wanted to be noticed and be engaged by either their employees or their customers, right?
Exactly.
And so, but again, like what I've said, we don't leave them with the problems, although I've heard you sharing some solutions already in your earlier sharing. So what do you believe will be the important leadership skills or capabilities that you must have in the next normal to continue to lead effectively?
Leadership skills. I think, yeah, number one is communication.
Mm-hmm.
And number two is integrity. You need to be integrity, self integrity, right? Because if you don't have self integrity, you don't do what you promise yourself, then it's very hard for you to lead other people, right? I mean, self integrity, a lot of people are lacking the confidence, first of all, to lead. Like, who am I to lead, right? It's because you haven't been staying in self integrity,
Mm-hmm.
right? You told yourself that I'm gonna do this, and you don't, even though it might seem as small as like, oh, I'm gonna get this thing done today, or I'm going to like get up 10 minutes earlier. Because if you don't do that consistently, you lose self-confidence, and you won't be able to lead other people with confidence. It's like, oh, if I can't even get this done myself, how do I expect someone else to do that? Right? And yeah, communications, I think having that vision in your mind and communicating it with another human being is hard. Like managing other people or like leading other people is hard, right? So you need to switch your tone of voice, right? You need to know what the people whom you're leading,
Mm-hmm.
what are their motivation, what appeals to them, what would make them want to do the work, right? So all of that, like understanding other humans behavior, to me all of that is like communications is selling skills, whether you're in corporate or you're an entrepreneur,
Mm-hmm.
you need that.
Mm-hmm. True, true. Thank you for sharing that with us. And again, communication has been like always be the I would say the challenge for most people, not only in the corporate world, but also for entrepreneurs. Like, having this clear, simple way of communicating it. And again, like, when you're working remotely, you have to be clear with them on what are the tangible things that you expect from them, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, so, and at the
There's
same
one more
time.
thing that I missed out really when we
Oh,
talk about communicating your vision,
mhm,
right? And a
mhm.
lot of leaders, they don't even have that clarity within themselves, right? So if you don't have that clarity within yourself about who your niche is, what
Mhm,
you stand for, what is the vision, how do you want this goal to realize, you can't see
mhm,
it in your mind, you don't have that clarity, then obviously you won't be able to communicate it with clarity. So the other person won't know what you're talking about if you're kind of like, I have some sort of idea about how this might work. Maybe we can do it like that, or maybe we can do it like that. So first, I guess number one would be clarity first, and then number
mhm,
two is communicating, and
mhm.
then yeah, number three would be having that self integrity.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that with us. I mean, again, communication has always been like a challenge for most people, right? On how
Mm,
they can actually get their message out there, whether it's like, a one on one or even in group, or most especially if it's something like where you have to engage with more people, right? And again, integrity is there, although I would say, like, it's also difficult for like some people who are perfectionists. So sometimes you tend to like always raise the bar and feel like, oh, I'm not doing enough and all those stuff, right? That's also
mm,
one thing, because I heard you mention earlier about if you cannot do this, then it's like also like self integrity. But at the same time, there are times like there are people who are too hard on themselves,
mm.
that
That's
they like put too much pressure or too much goals.
yes, yes.
that,
I have a child who's like that. My daughter, my second daughter, she's a perfectionist. She's so afraid, like it's done, but she's just want to make it. I think it's something like people are just born like that, but it's good that she's very detailed. I mean, perfectionist has they're very detailed. They want to do things
Mhm,
right, and
mhm.
um, but I suppose it's just more of like when will it ever be perfect? Just know that nothing
True,
will ever be
exactly.
perfect, right? Nothing good enough is good
Mhm,
enough. Just ship
mhm.
it and then you can always change it. Know that nothing is set in stone, right? Just
Exactly.
because, yes, the website is not perfect, but guess what? You can launch it and you can make that improvement over time. And but if you never launch it, you will never know whether it's doing well or it is what people are saying, right? But once you
Mhm,
launch it, you know, oh, what's clicking, what's getting people to click, what is getting people to, yeah, you can test and measure. So I'm all about, I'm a very data driven person. So I'm all about just ship it, collect the data, get the numbers, and have a data driven decision. So it's not emotional. It's not just like one day I woke up and think that would be a good idea. Yeah, yeah, I sometimes do have crazy ideas like that, but then I will try it. I would survey my audience and ask, do you think that's a good idea? Would you like that? You know, ask people for opinion because we don't live in a vacuum. We live in a world full of people. So at the end of the day, you gotta have to communicate with people and get that feedback so that you can make progress.
true, true. And that's especially for entrepreneurs like us, where we have a lot of ideas that's going on, and we have to test it out. And I love that you've shared about being data driven, because data would really help us to make smart decisions at the same time, right?
Exactly.
um, Yeah. So, and we've been talking about leadership, the opportunities that and the silver linings that the pandemic brought about, and at the same time, both the problems and capabilities that they need to have. And so, what do you believe will be the role of leadership learning, in order to transform and thrive in the next normal?
Oh. Sorry, what was the question?
What do you believe is the role of learning and leadership in order to transform and thrive in the next normal?
What is the role? I think that is the only role. It's not like just what is the role. I think it's that like you either step up as a leader or you just fade behind. You just get left behind. There's no other way. I mean, if you're happy just being left behind and not getting the visibility and or respect that you deserve, and that's fine. But if you are someone who's ambitious, if you
Mhm.
want a better life for yourself, if you have an idea that would make an impact for the world or for your company or for your community or even just for your family, you got to step up. It's not about what role it is. It's the only role, I believe, in this
True.
competitive market where it's great that we have all this technology that levels up the playing game for everyone, right? I mean, back in the days, we won't be able to speak like that direct to whoever's watching. Maryland, this is almost like you having a TV program. You can't, right? Back in the day, you
Exactly.
have to pay, right? Or be this super famous TV presenter. But these days, it's level up the level playing game. It's up to you whether you want to grab this opportunity to step up fast and become and grab that piece of your industry and say, I'm the leader here. And kind of like stake a piece of, back in those days during maybe our ancestor time, how do you become rich would be like you stake a piece of land, right? This piece of land is mine, right? And then I grow farm or whatever it is, right? And then I become rich. But in this day and age, it would be staking your claim on your industry and say, I am the leader in the industry, and you start having your thoughts, productize it, creating content, and that's how you can survive in this new normal or next normal.
Exactly. And I really love what you've shared about really stepping, it's just stepping up and being visible, right? And nowadays we have a lot of opportunities that we can make use of, like social media and what we do right now. It's really like adding value to others, creating content, and being able to be you.
Yeah,
And sharing that amazingness to others, right? That's simple, right? And it's amazing. I mean, lots of opportunities for everyone to be, just to be,
yes,
right? and,
exactly.
and yeah, and do what they really enjoy to do, to be able to have that transformation, or to thrive in this next normal, or whatever they want to call that, right? And
Mhm.
so that leads me to my two exciting questions. I'm so excited to know what will be your answer to this. That if you have a magic wand and can
Mhm.
use it, what will you do with it? And if you would like to share why, feel free to do so with your
Wow.
magic
If I
wand.
can wave a magic wand. So my mission is to help 1 million women
Mhm.
grow the business to 1 million, to have a $1 million business.
Wow.
But the only most one the biggest obstacle I see is not the lack of information.
Mhm.
It's not the lack of knowledge or platform or tools that is all out there, but rather is that internal knowledge, right? It's not knowledge, sorry, the internal fear. So if
Mhm.
I can have a magic wand, I would wave that away and just have women's lose that fear of failure and lose that fear of being judged. And a lot of people, they want to step up to their best life, but
Mhm.
because they have this fear of what would other people think, what if I fail, and therefore they live their life in that what if. So if I have a magic wand, I'll wave all their fears away so that they will be confident to step up.
Wow, I really hope that you do. But I mean, with the things that you are doing right now, that's exactly what you do. It's really, when you have awareness, when you have knowledge, it's just basically taking away that fear from people, right? So that they don't, don't get afraid to do things and be judged because they know, oh, I've learned this from Michelle, so I know I'm doing the right thing.
Yeah,
That
but
kind of
you know, they get motivated, right? They might like, oh, I want to like blah, 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 but then they may shut up, you know, like you know, when they're not having a group coaching with me or whatever, they may go back and then talk to other people of their friends who are not stepping out and like getting all this feedback, and they're like, oh, you know, and feel defeated. So I think like, yeah, keeping yourself, being in a community, and that's how I know Maryland. We are in a community of
exactly.
entrepreneurs, right? So keeping yourself with the right people, right mindset, and that would help you to at least ease some of those fears. Those fears are absolutely normal. There's nothing to be ashamed of. It's just because you've never walked that path, right? So I've walked that path. So I can tell it's safe. Come with me. But for people who have not walked that path, it's scary. So, and I get it. I get it. Yeah.
Yes, and at the same time, they have to be reminded that on the other side of the fear is where you would be like you would get your greatness, or your amazing uh
Transformation.
yes, your amazing self or your greatness, right? So thank you for sharing that with us. And I mean, I'm really glad
That's a
again.
lovely question. I love that.
Yeah, and I really appreciate, again, like I said, even if you don't have a magic wand, this is really like something that you've been doing with the work that you do currently, right? So, and my last question then would be, if you were to ask yourself a question that you can best answer, what would it be?
Wow. If I could ask myself a question that I could best answer,
Mhm.
what would that be?
And feel free to share with us your answer since you can best answer that.
It's like wow, it's like Maryland is like, okay, I'm just gonna give it. I've given up thinking of question. Let me just throw the question so that they can ask themselves and answer themselves. But it's a good thing. Like so recently I went on another podcast and I was asked this question that I never thought about it uh
Mhm.
before. And you know, sometimes we realize things about ourselves as we
Mhm.
talk through it, right? At least I'm like that. So
Mhm.
I can't remember what's the question. Oh, she says, what is the one thing that you like? What's the one thing that I believe has made them that made me who I am compared to other people who has no, what's the one thing that has brought me to the person I am today or something
Mhm.
like that. I can't remember
Mhm.
the exact question.
Mhm.
But while answering that, I realized that how I am different from most people is that I have an extremely positive mindset. Like no matter what happened, um, oh yes. So the question is like what life experience that I've been through that made me
Mhm.
the person who I am today. So I
Mhm.
said, so the answer to that, it was because I've been through so much hardship in my
Mhm.
younger days. You know, I lost my mom. My dad went bankrupt at one point in his business. He's an entrepreneur. So he's got like ups and downs in life, and I pretty much have to fend for myself at a
Mhm.
very young age. And
Mhm.
I remember even the youngest memory that I have at around like 6 years old around money was that we are running out of grocery money by the end of the week. Do we buy like, you know, packet chicken rice that we can share among the four of us at home?
Mhm.
Or do we buy a uncooked chicken so that it lasts longer? So I was faced with that kind of decision at that young age. And because I've been through like the worst, now anything that happens to me, I always think that, hey, this is not that. This is better. You know, if I were to miss, let's say, a call or I miss something, I'll be like, oh, maybe that's just not meant to be. So that's okay. I can work on this. I lose something, I'll be like, oh, that's okay. You know, that's something. So I'm always thinking like, that's not the worst that can happen. So because of what I've been through, so I'm grateful that I've been through the worst.
Mhm.
So that anything that happens to me, any obstacle, any hardship, any struggle, I just see it as it's not dying. It's not. It's not going back to like those days when I'm running out of money, right? And feeling hopeless as a child. I could get through this.
Mm-hmm.
Get through this. So I suppose that has given me that not that I'm fearless. It's because I worked through my fears to
Mm-hmm.
get through what am I today. So I'm yeah.
Wow, that's really, thank you so much for sharing your story with us. I really love it. And
Thank you.
again, a lot of people are fearful, like what you've said in the earlier question, and at the same time, are very negative, or, they see a lot of the negative things that happens to them rather than, the good things. And again, like, whatever happened to us in the past will be the one that would help us be a better person right now. And like what Steve Jobs said, right, it's all about connecting the dots, and it can only be done if for the things that have happened to you in the past, right?
Correct.
So like whatever it is, it's really like just about trusting it. And like, I mean, you are an amazing person right now because of the difficulties that you faced when you were younger, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, and that's a gift, right? It's
And
just
that,
about.
yeah, so now am I when I'm thinking back, I'm thankful to have those experience. I'm
Mhm,
thankful for what I currently have, but that's not enough. It does not define me, right? What's past is the past.
mhm.
I have no control over it, but what
Yeah.
I have control over is right now and what I can do for my future.
Yes, very
Yeah.
true. And it's important for us to be in the present moment, to enjoy more whatever we
Correct.
have in life, right? So
Yes,
thank you for
absolutely.
sharing. And then hopefully, like, we will be inspiring more leaders, entrepreneurs, listening or watching us. With what you have shared, so thank you so much. It's really, I would say, it's very powerful, and the positivity is is really there during this conversation. So I really appreciate your time, and this powerful conversation. Thank you. And for those who are watching us and who's been watching us for the last almost 40 minutes. Thank you so much. And do join us in this journey to create like more opportunities for everyone to to face their fear and to live the world that we would want to live in, right? Make
Yes.
this a better world for every one of us, right? And we have a lot of every opportunity to do that. And so, and even remember that even the richest investors in the world say that, investing in yourself is the best investment you can ever make in your life. So, with that, we would like to leave our audience with this quote from Dolly Parton, that if your actions create a legacy that inspires others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, then you are an excellent leader. Thank you so much again, Michelle.
Thank you so much, Maryland. It's been very fun for me as well to share. And thank you so much for whoever's watching right now. And if you have any question and you'd like to get in touch with me more, you can always reach me at the Chill Mom on Instagram. I'm most active there. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing with us. And do connect to both Michelle and I if there's anything we can help you with, right? So thank you, Michelle, and have a nice day, everyone, and do stay safe. Bye for
Yeah.
now.
Bye.